12 is in the books. We've got lots to talk about, including some season-ending injuries, fantasy football news, the studs and sucks for this past week. Going to rip into the guys that crapped the bed and also praise the guys did well at each position. Going to break that down here for you guys. Big episode here. Want to make it interactive as well. I know week 12 is very important to a lot of people. So if you're here watching on YouTube, drop a comment below. Let me know who your stud was or who your suck was for this week. Drop it in the comments below. Let's make this interactive, but we're going to go through each and every player, each and every position that did well. We're going to talk about and the guys that crapped the bed. Studs and sucks NFL Week 12. Excited to dive into this episode. Now, if you have not seen this or heard of this yet, guys, Real Truck, what they're doing is absolutely amazing. They teamed up with pro athletes, including Dak Prescott, George Kittle, and Travis Kelce, to give away, guys, a truck, a dream truck to real-life heroes that have contributed to society. If you have not watched these episodes, go watch them right now. 2 episodes are already out, so go watch that, guys, right now. Here's a preview. Check out how amazing this is.
What happens with someone who spent their whole life
given to others, finally get something in return?
We're handing these keys over to you.
Oh my God.
Yes. So that we can make sure this is the story of unsung heroes,
Amazing trucks.
And dreams that come true.
I'm Dak Prescott.
I'm George Kittle.
I'm Travis Kelce.
And this is the Truck It List.
This is the Truck It List.
This is the Truck It List.
Is that enough about it? You trying to take it for a spin?
I'm ready.
So there you have it, guys. It's called the Truck It List. Go to thetruckitlist.com or head on over to Real Truck. I've dropped a link here below on YouTube. At Real Truck on Instagram, go to the link in their bio, watch these episodes, and it's an amazing inspirational stories to see these community heroes, these veterans, these people that have contributed to society get something beautiful in return and get their dream truck. Watch these inspirational stories at Real Truck right now. Go check it out. And secondly, guys, very, very important, guys, there's Monday Night Football tonight, and if you have not ordered wings during the game, you're missing out. They've got football bundles over at Hooters. Go to Hooters.com or download the app. Use code FFC20. It's going to enhance that game watching experience. Delicious food while you're watching the game. We got the Steelers and the Colts tonight. We've got the World Cup going on. We've got lots of things going on. Hooters.com to save $10 on order of 30 or more on takeout and delivery using code FFC20, guys. Select locations across the USA. FFC20 is the code you want to use. Order the football bundles now. Go to Hooters right now, all right? Or download the app. All right, let's talk about this. Let's start off with the news here real quick. I want to talk about the news, and there is some things I want to highlight here going into the studs and sucks this week. First and foremost, Deshaun Watson has served his 11-game suspension for the violations of the personal conduct policy, yada, 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 for his alleged massage, I should say. So, and all the allegations and the drama. Either way, he's officially active. So once he gets going, that could give Nick Chubb a boost. Maybe it's going to hurt him. We don't know. Could give the offense a boost. So Deshaun Watson officially active. We're going to see when he's going to get going there. Elijah Mitchell, not that it's hugely important from a fantasy perspective, is believed to have suffered an MCL sprain. That's going to sideline him for quite some time. Either way, McCaffrey's still the guy, okay? Aaron Rodgers went out yesterday with a rib injury. You saw that near them. When was that? Fourth quarter, I think it was, third quarter. He was suffering with some sort of rib injury. You could see it in his face. And Jordan Love came in. When Jordan Love came in, he completed 6 out of the 9 passes for 113 yards and 1 touchdown, man. It was awesome. No interceptions. Jordan Love comes in, steps in hungry, and makes the best out of his opportunity. Now, they still ended up losing the game, but again, you saw Christian Watson tear it up. Now, everybody's riding the Christian Watson train all of a sudden. Nobody was talking about him prior to the season. I was the only one. If you got 16 rounds, we were talking about him. We had him stashed on our rosters, Christian Watson. Now he's tearing it up, having about 3 consecutive weeks. What do you have, like 6 touchdowns the past 3 games? He's tearing it up. So that's what we're seeing here. But again, Aaron Rodgers banged up. He should be back hopefully next time he plays next week. And again, Jordan Love making the best out of his opportunity. Now, there was a season-ending injury here to Darnell Mooney as well. It was an ankle, really, really banged up ankle injury. So I guess they're going to do more tests on that. But either way, Darnell Mooney is done. Not that he was a huge fantasy contributor. He was starting to heat up. But either way, he didn't really do anything prior to that. All right. So those are some news here that I had to kind of highlight. A couple notes there from the news perspective. Right. Now, drop a comment below. Let me know if there's any highlights or news that, maybe I missed that you think, should be relevant. Drop it in the comments below. Let's start off with the studs at the quarterback position, and I'll give you a dud of the week at the quarterback position and each position moving forward, okay? And drop a comment below. Let me know who you think is a stud or suck for this week and who crapped the bed for you guys. Want to make this interactive. Also, drop your fantasy football week 13. Can you believe it or not? Stars and sits questions. I'll get to a couple of those as well here in the comments. So make it interactive, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys do subscribe to this #1 fantasy football podcast where we are the most accurate, where we thinking outside the box, where we're not copying and pasting rankings. So again, make sure you guys are subscribed. All right, Josh Allen, as consistent as they come, man. I don't know what to tell you. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. Herbert was primed for a good matchup. I had him started. Did very well for me. Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Mike White. Wow. Jets, Mike White, 24.8 points, including 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Mike White, guys, I mean, this is a bit of a shocker to me. He's in his 4th season, believe it or not. He was a pick 171 back in 2018 out of Western Kentucky. Mike White, making a little bit of an impression here from a fantasy perspective. Anyway, that's very impressive here. 24.8 points. Again, that's interesting. Mac Jones, 23.28. Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, and Derek Carr rounding out the top 10 here. Geno Smith, Pat Mahomes, honorable mentions with good points. Now, the guys that crap the bed here, and again, I do factor in injury. Aaron Rodgers, 9.5 points, leaving the game early. A lot of people started him. You know, it's just the way it is. Tannehill, a lot of people started him, 12.54 points. And I'd say, again, the suck of the week, and I don't think you should expect anything out of him moving forward, is Russell Wilson with 8.48 points. Now, when I look at Russell Wilson's stats on the year, it's really depressing. I'm counting touchdowns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think he's got 8 touchdowns on the season. Guys, that's not good. Like, this is a guy that, you know, for years has been a good quarterback consistently going into an offense, fresh offense. You would think that he would do well. He had some good weapons with Judy and Sutton, and I know Judy's been banged up. They lost Javonte Williams and all that stuff, but just not performing where he should be based on the talent that he has. So again, new team, new offense, major regression for Russell Wilson. I don't think anybody anticipated it, but again, suck of the week again with him and Rodgers for the week. Very, very depressing numbers from those guys. Moving on to the running back position here. Jacobs. We got to talk about Jacobs here. 48.3 points. And I want to share a quick story with you guys going back a couple years ago. I was at the NFL draft. I was in with all the new rookies, and Jacobs was one of the guys that I met. Nice guy. We met. We did a picture together. We talked. He even did a voiceover for the podcast. Hi, this is Josh Jacobs, and you're listening to the Fantasy Football Counselor podcast. Nice guy, right? Did that for me. A couple years later, I think he said something about the fantasy community, or he didn't care about your fantasy team. So I don't know what I called him. I called him a name. I said he's a something. I can't remember. Like he's a loser or he sucks or something like that. So he came to my DM and said, hey, do you want to fight? You know, let's do it. You know, you can pull up on me, cuh. He called me cuh, C-U-H. And he told me that, you know, do you want to pull up and fight? Right? I'm like, he goes, you know where I'm at, which, you know, in actuality, I didn't know where he was at. So that's a false statement. So he goes, you know where you're at, cuh. Come pull up and we'll fight. And I was just saying, hey, man, let's do a boxing match. He goes, you're on. So I'm like, okay, we got this boxing match set up. Like, it's going to happen. I'm ready to go, right? MMA background, amateur MMA, and boxing background. Like, I know how to throw hands, right? So we could set up a boxing match, no problem. A day later, this is, again, we're talking like December 2020 now. What does he do? Blocks me. I'm like, okay, you can block me all you want. That's fine. Coward move. Now he tears it up in fantasy. So either way, that's just kind of the backstory here. So I got to give him props here. But prior to this season, I know and again, you got to look at contract year running backs. That's what we talk about in 16 rounds. As we talk about in this other app, I got an app, right? The draft tool that we've got. We factor in all this stuff, contract years, and we rank these players higher. Jacob Saquon doing well. But prior to this season, like, he just wasn't that good. He was a mediocre running back. Now he's starting to tear it up. Opportunity knocks. But amazing here, man. 229 yards on the ground, 74 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 48.3 PPR fantasy points. Amazing. Josh Jacobs. But again, I just want to give you the backstory on the debacle we had a couple years ago. Maybe a boxing match will happen one day. Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, James Conner, Brian Robinson, JaMychal Hasty. Man, numbers, 20.5. We saw ATN gets sidelined with a leg injury. So Hasty made the best out of his opportunity. So Jordan Love, Hasty making the best out of their opportunities with the starters going down. Nick Chubb, Stevenson, Rashad White, and Samaj Perine, top 10 numbers. 19.3 for Samaj Perine. Aaron Jones rounding it out at number 11, and Dylan at number 12. Kenneth Walker had a good game at 16.9 points too. Now, who sucked at the running back position for the week? Now, there's a couple guys here that scored under 10 points that I got to highlight. Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Dameon Pierce, Travis Etienne, and Kenyon Drake. Guys that may have been started. And again, if I'm missing somebody, let me know. But Dalvin Cook, 9.6 points. Christian McCaffrey should have done better with 8.9. Dameon Pierce, 4.6. Very depressing. And Travis Etienne, injuries do count. If you're not on the field and you get hurt, you suck. 0.3 points for Etienne, who had 2 attempts, 3 yards. And that's it. That's all he got. Didn't even catch a ball. So Travis Etienne, the suck of the week, a guy that Ken Sheeps has told you is an RB1 as part of a 0 RB strategy, and make sure that Etienne is the first RB off the board. How do you do this week? So Etienne, rough start to the year, starting to heat up. Now bad week this week, got hurt, but apparently he should be good to go moving forward, all right? Moving on to the wide receiver position. Justin Jefferson having himself yet another good game. Chris Godwin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zay Jones, Garrett Wilson coming alive. T. Higgins, Isaiah McKenzie, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Christian Watson rounding out the top 10. Again, this is excluding the Monday Night Football game with the Steelers and the Colts, but those are your top 10 wide receivers that were the studs of the week. Honorable mention, DeAndre Carter from the Chargers with 20.3 points, and DK Metcalf was 20 points PPR. Hopkins staying in the mix there, 14th amongst wide receivers with around, what do you have, like 18.7 points, give or take, right? So under 19 points for Hopkins. So Hopkins continues to give a good return on investment for a value this year who missed the beginning of the season. So those are your studs. Now, the guys that crap the bed with wide receivers, again, it's a little more common that stud names kind of drop off. Some big names here. Christian Kirk, who's been consistent, 8.1 points. Deebo Samuel, Juju, 6.8 points. Mike Evans, Drake London, who's been terrible. I take ownership on that. I thought he'd have a good year. Just not performing. And Alan Lazard. I was telling you, Watson is better than Lazard. Everyone drafted Lazard ahead of him. I'm like, I would just wait, get Watson, stash Watson, and fade the Lazard 5th round pick. Sure enough, it's showing that Lazard, if again, the mentality that I go with is like they drafted Watson in the 2nd round, right? And then you've got Lazard, whose years to wide was when I wowed. He couldn't pass Devontae Adams as the wide receiver 1. Well, he's not a true 1. If he was, he would have passed Adams. And that's my mentality. I aim high, I think big. So in comes the young Watson, faster, more athletic, right? He could take over. Very easy because the barrier to be a wide receiver 1 is not that big. So Lazard, 4.4 points, proving that he's now no longer the wide receiver 1 anymore. And the suck of the week this week, 4.4 points, all right? And at the tight end position here, Cole Kmet, George Kittle, Robert Tonyan, and Evan Ingram as the worst. I mean, Evan Ingram, 1.4 points, Tonyan, 5 points, Kittle, 5.6, and Cole Kmet, 5.7 points. I'm going to give 4 sucks of the week at the tight end position. So there you have it, guys, all right? Now, in the comments below, drop it below. Let me know who is a suck of the week for you guys. Love to hear it, and let's rip into them. Let's talk about it, and let them know, guys. They got to know. And fantasy is directly proportional to reality. So if you suck in fantasy, you suck in reality as well. And so many players are like, well, I hate your fantasy team. I don't like fantasy. Well, logically, if you do well in fantasy, you do well in reality. Only a certain amount of players get that. Like Austin Eckler gets it. I think George Kittle gets it. But a bunch of players get it, but a lot of players don't get it. The ones that don't get it got to realize that, hey, fantasy equals reality. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. Thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here. We'll talk soon. I'm out.